Hey, beautiful Scorpios. Welcome back to Natural Mystic Messages. This is your weekly reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and of course Venus, because we love to love here at Natural Mystic. Now, this is fluid, so wherever the message goes, let it place there. So if I'm talking about someone that's doing something to you, or vice versa, or maybe this resonates for someone who's needing advice from you at the moment, just let it go where it goes. However, if it does not apply, let it fly. Don't try and squeeze it in, and definitely don't get angry at me. I'm just the messenger. Okay, now this is the month that I am referring to fondly as my thirsty month. So I am trying to grow, and I'm going to unashamedly ask you to please like the video and please subscribe. On that note, let's get the reading started. First off, from the romance angels, we have getting to know each other. And this says, as you reveal your innermost self to each other, your bond deepens. Okay, we have healing family issues. This seems to be a theme. And it's been a theme for the last few months, I've noticed, or a few weeks. Maybe I'm exaggerating. We have pay attention to red flags. The signs are cautioning you. And stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. And I think that's just doing a check-in on your energy and how you're approaching life at the moment. Are you pulling negatives out of situations that don't necessarily need negatives? Are issues that are coming up to be healed bleeding into your everyday life? Are you getting sort of pessimistic about things because you're feeling overwhelmed by some of the issues that are being brought up for you to heal? The getting to know each other and pay attention to red flags, I think they go hand in hand. But Spirit's also saying be careful not to create your own red flags. I'm hearing that there's someone testing their partner almost unfairly in the hopes that they'll fail, or testing a new person in the hopes that they'll fail. And that's coming out of fear, and that's why these issues are coming up for you to heal, so that you're no longer in that space of fear when it comes to love and romance. Okay, now we're going to let the tarot do the talking. We're going to be pulling from the Light Seers deck today. All my decks that are, oh, they're not mine. Well, they personally are my decks, but all the decks I use will be posted below for anyone who is interested in them. And these are some beautiful decks. They really are. Okay, what do we have for Scorpio for this week? What do we have for Scorpio for this week? Oh, here we go. The Hermit and the World. The World has been a big theme at the moment too, but I think it's energetic and I think it's collective, because we are moving into a new cycle and we are moving into a new space of, it's a karmic cycle, you know, so we're letting go of a lot of things that no longer serve us because we have learnt our lessons. And that's what I'm getting for you, Scorpio, is that there are a few cycles, and I'm hearing a lack mentality, so I think that was a big one for you at some stage too, or maybe still is, Scorpio, that you're letting that cycle go and you're allowing that abundance to come in. The Hermit card, it's speaking of going within. It can also speak about segregating yourself from people, sometimes necessarily, sometimes unnecessary segregation. Maybe you are, I'm getting a sense of fear. There's a lot of fear here of the backs of past people, but I feel like this comes from not having a secure set of boundaries. So in the past you were hurt by people, probably more so than the average, because you didn't really know how to set those boundaries, and that might go back into your childhood. You may have grown up in a house that was very strict and you weren't allowed that space of boundary. You may have had a parent that crossed that boundary quite regular, in the sense that you didn't have a say, and you were kind of raised in the speak when spoken to type of household, so you didn't really know how to assert yourself or assert those boundaries. And when they do come out, they're coming out from a place of being pushed down. So it can go, instead of saying, hey, I'm not really comfortable with this, you sort of hold it in, hold it in, hold it in, because that's not a good boy or a good girl. And then when you get to that stage where you are approaching that boundary, it's probably smack bang in the middle of a fight, and it's come out in anger and no one's really hearing you or taking it seriously. So I guess after that long rant, what Spirit's asking you to do, so you don't have to segregate yourself anymore, is work on boundaries and work on creating those boundaries. What I'm also getting is that it's played a big part for you in your relationships, the not having boundaries. And then because you're probably seeing people who do have a somewhat realistic sense of boundaries for themselves, maybe not for you, is that when you go to cross theirs or reciprocate that energy, that sort of overcrossed boundary energy, they're not allowing it. So it's leaving you feeling like there's two sets of rules. While this is their fault, you can remedy this and not be in this situation again if you learn these set of boundaries. So next up we have the Death card. But in this deck, it's also the death and rebirth. So while it's the ending of something, nothing really dies, it sort of transforms itself. So what may be an ending is also a new beginning, because it's transferring and transforming that energy. You're taking maybe the energy of something that's ended or old and revamping it. And then we have the Two of Wands, and this speaks to being in control of your own life. You're the person who sets the goals and sets the standards and sets the tone for how you want to live your life. And it's up to you to make sure the people around you follow it or understand the consequences of not following it. Be that you may leave them or not spend less time with them or not give them as much energy as you used to. There has to be a set of consequences to the actions of people not respecting your boundaries, because this boundary issue, what I'm hearing, plays out in every aspect of your life, with friends, with family, still with parents, with children. It's become so entwined and you're so used to it that you're not even realizing until you get overwhelmed that people are continuously, daily crossing your boundaries. I feel like at work this is a big thing too. So we have the Strength card and the Emperor card. And this is you. This is Spirit asking you to step into this Emperor energy, this stoic, rule-enforcing type of person. And I'm hearing that this really isn't you. You don't want to be aggressive or any of those things. And that's where this Strength card comes, because the Strength card is, it's overcoming your inner demons. It's overcoming all the things that you need to battle, but it's doing it in a real feminine energy. Now, people don't often equate strength with feminine energy, but it really is such a strength. It's just not shown in the aggressive, outgoing, egotistical way that we equate strength. It is a real solid internal strength that people know they can't shake you. You don't have to come in stoic, chest out. You're unfaltered no matter what the situation is. So it's also talking to you about your reactions to things and learning how to take a second and breathe and understand if this is personally against you or it's something that's coming from a trigger. These cards are really speaking to a lot of really hard inner work, Scorpio. But if there's anybody that can handle this, it's a Scorpio. You are the kings and queens of the zodiac, of death and rebirth, of hitting those depths that normal signs won't get to. So while this sounds very heavy, it's kind of a regular day in the life of a Scorpio because they live in that depth 24/7. So we're gonna this is heavy, but it's hopeful, Scorpio. It is hopeful because these transitions are opening up a new world for you. And I feel like this is a world you've wished for. Okay, so we have the Fool. Just as I said, it's the start of something new. And it's having the courage to jump into that new with the depth and asking people to have courage to sort of take your hand and jump with you is what I'm hearing. Okay, Five of Pentacles. This is realizing that it's that moment, that aha moment, that you actually have the power to change your whole life. For a while, I feel like you've been very defeated and very overwhelmed and feeling like you sort of didn't have control over a lot of situations. This is that moment where you realize you are in control. If you're on the outside, it's because somewhere, somehow, subconsciously, you've put yourself there. You've put yourself in hermit mode, and for good reason, though, Scorpio. There was a lot of protection needed while you learned how to build these healthy boundaries and healthy walls. Okay, we're going to go one more, and then we're going to start clarifying. I'm also feeling like there are times where you're sort of overwhelmed and doing much more than the average human should, and you're not feeling like you're getting the, sorry, I get very itchy when spirit comes in close, makes my body a little bit prickly, not getting the recognition that you deserve for just how hard you're going. I think you make these struggles look so easy to the outside person, that they're so used to you surviving and fighting through that they sort of don't give you the pat on the back that you deserve. But you are human, Scorpio, and you can only be pushed so far and only be bent so far. And I think that's why for a while you sort of went into that hermit energy, because you needed to reassess. But the responsibilities didn't stop coming. You may have, and that's the thing, is we can't run from our problems, and it's something I have learned many a times. You can run, you can shut the whole world out, but somehow those problems still manage to sneak through. Okay, on that note, we have, okay, so we have the King of Swords, the King of Wands, and the Moon. This is coming a little off course from what I'm talking about, although probably not. But I feel like you're dealing with two sides of a person in your life. Be this a boss, a partner. It feels very much like partner energy, but place this where it needs to go. I feel like this moon leaves you wondering who this person is. Like, what am I not seeing here? Or am I seeing an illusion to who they really are? Am I seeing them at their soul level? Like, I feel like you're getting all these aspects of this person, and they kind of don't all add up. They don't flow and they don't gel. And that's where, and it could be that you're dealing with two people who have two different aspects, and you're not sure which way to place yourself because each of them are equally great in their own right. Or there could be this one person who has these two polar opposite sides of themselves, and you don't really know which one is that person, or are they so multifaceted that they are all these people, but at the same time you're looking for some consistency, and some days you don't know who you're getting. Some days you don't know which person this is, and it's leaving you second guessing yourself and wondering what is going on, what am I doing, and you feel like you're almost losing yourself or having to change yourself because each day this different person shows up and you're not really sure what reaction they're looking for. And it's creating an anxiety inside you that's becoming actual anxiety. Like, it's not just a feeling anymore of, oh, I'm feeling a bit anxious. You're actually starting to get anxiety off the back of the lack of consistency, because your brain really doesn't know how to process this. Now we're going to do some clarifying with, from memory, what is the name of this deck? The Modern Spellcastors deck. Okay. Well, the first message this deck is giving us is that this wheel, which has come back up again, I told you this is prevalent energy in all these readings. The wheel is moving you onto your Ten of Pentacles. This is financial security. This is your time being managed properly. Like, Pentacles are physical abundance, physical things, work, all that type of stuff, but it's also time. So that's what I'm feeling, that this change, although it might feel very uncomfortable at the moment or very still, or like, you don't recognize the world anymore. It's because you're moving to a place that's so foreign to you, because it's everything you've wished for, but it doesn't look the way you thought it would, is what Spirit's saying. Okay, so we're going to clarify this. The cards just come out by themselves. How are we doing on time? 15 minutes, not too bad in the grand scheme of things. Okay. Okay. So the Temperance has come, and I'm not, where is it? Oh, there we go. I did have it right. The Temperance has come, and I'm not even surprised. Not even. This is divine healing. This is being pushed towards all the things that you know are for your greater good, even if you don't want to face them. And I hope I'm not scaring you, Scorpio, by saying you're going to have to deal with all this stuff that, you haven't dealt with. Spirit's saying it will only ever give you exactly what you can handle, even if you feel like you're not handling it. Spirit's saying, take a deep breath and have a look at what you've done and how much you're achieving and how much you're pulling yourself up every day to get to the other side. And you are getting to the other side. It's just sometimes when we're in the thick of it, we can't see how far we've come, especially if you're walking through a really thick forest of really thick bush and you're needing to cut it down as you go. You feel like you're just facing the same thing over and over. It's didn't I cut down this tree 5 minutes ago? But look back at that cleared path, and that's where you've come. You may feel like you should have been there by now. With the amount of work you've done, you should have been a lot further than you should. Just keep pushing forward, Spirit's saying, because you're not alone and you are being divinely guided. Now we have the Knight of Cups with the Ten of Swords. This is another ending of a cycle. This is no longer being in that state of distress and worry and overwhelming sort of anxiety. It's knowing that you've sort of, the only way is up from here, is what I'm hearing. Like, things have to get better. The thing is, the pendulum can only swing so far for so long. It eventually reaches its top and has to start swinging back. Spirit's saying you're in the backswing, trust that. Now, the Knight of Cups, this is communication. So if you're, it's communication, it's love, but I'm not so much feeling that this is partner orientated. For some of you, you'll find that someone is coming in sort of very declarative of their love and how they feel for you, but it's also reminding you that how love's supposed to feel is what I'm hearing from Spirit. How is love supposed to feel? Am I supposed to be feeling this way? Is this normal? Finding out what your normal is in regards to relationships and love. And it's that boundary. How do you expect to feel in a relationship? And are these people, or is this person giving it to you? And are they capable of giving it to you? And are you seeing the potential of who that person is, or are you seeing that person? Okay, we're going to do 2 more clarifiers, and then we will pull some Oracle. It's getting very warm. There's a lot of spirit here, and I'm guessing someone watching has a very big spirit team. They're telling me that this person, whoever it is watching, or whoever spirit team has just come in, that you have lived many past lives, and that is why you're at the stage now where you have a big spirit team. They have come through from each life, and you also have a lot of things that you take part in, so you need different guides for different things. So you may like work 2 jobs that are polar opposite. You may be the person that gives advice to people. Like, you have a big mission in this life, and that's why your team is so large. Okay, we've got the 9 of Wands. This is pulling through that last leg. And I feel like I've been saying this a lot for most of the signs this week. And it really does speak to the energy we're in. It is exhausting. It's heavy. It's overwhelming. You might feel like you've already done a good 6 months of the year, and we're, 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in. we are moving out of this energy. So regardless of what goes in your life, we are moving out of this energy. So it is going to get a little easier. We're moving into some great Aquarius energy, which is very humanitarian and very caring and kind of very carefree. So Spirit's saying you can look forward to that. Okay, we're going to pull some Oracle. And if this has resonated so far, or you just enjoyed the read, please hit the like button and please subscribe if you feel so. Also, if you've come back again after subscribing from my last reading, thank you. I really appreciate it. It still blows my mind, and I'm only like I'm about 20 subscribers off 2,000. It still blows my mind that people want to listen. Okay, we have Unity. An upcoming meeting will prove most beneficial as your last acquaintance was sent by your star family. So you may be feeling a real connection to the starseed title and looking into what that means for you and exploring your cosmic family. Okay, that's too many cards. No, come on. Be realistic here, Spirit. So yeah, that may be something that you're looking into at the moment. You may be watching YouTube things. You may have just heard the term and realized that it applies to you. You may have just found out. That could be what your team is at the moment. You may be being guided by your cosmic family. Now we have promotion. A promotion, pay rise, some material advancement and acknowledgement is being recognized, which is what I said earlier. It's exactly what I said earlier. That you're exhausted from that not coming through, but keep pushing because that is going to be recognized because divine timing is at play. This is terrible lighting. Divine timing. Time to meet up with someone or something you have wanted for a long time. And new dawning. It says something is new. No, it doesn't. Something new is just about to begin and you've passed through a foggy cloud. Sit tight and wait a little while longer. It's pretty much the whole message of this reading is just sit tight. And I know that's like, I've gone on to readings before and got the same thing. Or I've had readings before where I've got the same thing and I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, this is bullshit. I don't want to wait. Tell me what I need to do. Sitting still is really hard for me. Spirit's saying just keep working on what we spoke about and wait, it's coming. So on that note, Scorpio, I will let you go and I'll see you all again next week.